I don't have anything to add. I think
at this point?
we
Okay.
have the information.
Okay. Who wants to begin?
I'll begin. I think, yeah, first thing is, I think it's unfortunate we can't classify it as a sign, number one. If we could, that'd be a lot easier. I respect Perkins, what you're doing and how you're doing it. I think that's a great thing, and I think it'd be wonderful if other companies did the same thing as well. Some of the things that gives me pause about it is I love the idea of hanging American flag that large in Gardner. What I don't love is the idea of having other companies want to do the same thing. If it's American flag, fine. If it's not American flag, that's a different story. You know, and not that I hope this on Perkins at all. I love going to Perkins, so I'm going to be there a lot. But if Perkins didn't make it there, then another company can come in there just as easily and hang a massive flag there that maybe we don't all support. So anyway, that's kind of my thinking so far.
Yeah, I know personally I don't have any problems with it. I just see the only problem really is that it would seem that this would need to address the issue from the ordinance perspective rather than a variance, as it doesn't really meet the criteria that we're allowed to grant.
Well, I'm concerned that the FAA hasn't made their finding.
Can I just add some light to the FAA? I don't know if that's appropriate in this.
Would you stand up for you?
Back in early November, I submitted, per requirements, I submitted 2 forms to the FAA, one for the sign, the pole sign, different structure, obviously, and then one for the flagpole. When I went to the FAA building, there was a lot of confusion. I wasn't able to find you have to have an appointment. It's a government building. There's, you know, security guards and metal detectors and so forth. The security guard, God bless his soul, called about 10 different people in different departments at the FAA and finally tracked down someone outside of the department that handles these types of requests, came down to meet me, and he said, okay, I think I can track down who handles these forms. And so I turned over both forms, and somewhere lost in the shuffle was probably the fact that there were 2 separate requests, one for the pole sign and one for the flagpole. And they immediately gave us approval on the pole sign with no stipulations other than I think we have to let them know when it is enacted, or when the actual sign's put up. So, you know, clearly I can't speak for the FAA, but it is outside of their flight pattern. It's close enough that they still have to make a determination of some sort whether or not it poses a risk. But my gut tells me that they will approve it. Of course, I understand you guys will want to see, you know, proof of that. So that was the background on why the flagpole has not been, there hasn't been a ruling on that. So
thank you. All right. Knowing now what the difference is between a flag and a sign, you know, that helped answer that question. But I think we're here to view and review, and if it needs to have a variance, give it a variance. In this case, a 70-foot flag certainly will be noticed by a lot of people, talked by a lot of people. North Supply, when they first came, everybody thought that was a hospital, but they were all talking about that building. And so too, I believe that they'll be talking about that flag in Gardner. When they come down I-35, not too far from Olathe, you know, they'll be thinking Gardner. I'd like to see that flag go up. If the request is that.
Yeah, I see no problem with the flag. With the American flag, as you was talking, if someone else, that's why we're here to be on each variance. If someone comes in here and wants to fly Popeye, well, I shouldn't say that, there are Popeyes. If someone comes in here and wants to fly an X flag or whatever it might be, then they have to bring it before us, and we have to decide if they do that or not. I don't, as for me, of course, I'm a veteran, and I believe that I don't see any problem with flying the flag for Perkins. They've flown it in other locations, and I believe we'd be all right. That's why we're set up here. As for the codes, that's why the codes are wrote up. We're set here to make a variance, to allow a variance if we agree to have one.
If we allowed a variance for this, and someone else came in and wanted to fly a different flag, whatever, it would be more difficult to say no to that other person.
We made a variance just up the street, less than a mile away, for someone to put a windmill up.
We did.
Yes. So,
It's case by case.
it's case by case. It's just like someone putting up a fence or whatever. Everything is.
I do agree
Case
with
by
Colleen,
case, yeah.
though. If we make a variance, we're setting a precedent that it doesn't matter what you're gonna fly, it matters how tall it is. That's what we're here to talk about, really. I mean, if you really go down to it, we're talking about the height of what we're flying, not what is flying. So if someone comes in and asks for a variance of a flag be flown, no matter what that flag is, if we set that precedence, we're setting precedence, no matter what that flag's gonna be on that pole.
That's, as Kip said, each case or variance that comes before us is a different.
I understand, but
So-
they could come in before you and say, all they want is a 70-foot flagpole. They don't have to tell you what they're gonna put on it. They just want a 70-foot flagpole.
And we could rightfully say no.
Well, we could say you can put up a 70-foot flagpole, but we aren't gonna let you put anything on it. You know, you wanna stick up a
Yeah.
70-foot pole up in the sky, well, stick it up there, but you're not gonna be able to put anything on it.
Yes, sir.
I call for the question. You guys are being disrespectful of that American flag. It's an American flag, not a flag. And you keep referring to it as a flag. There's two different things between the company flag and the United States of America flag. And that's what I look at, and that's what I look at when I look at Perkins, and that's what I look at every one of you guys here that served in the military. I was not fortunate to do. And I thank you. And this is
We agree with you.
disrespectful. And I'm sorry I interrupted. I called for the question to break up the meeting, and that's why I did that. That's a United States of America flag. It's not a company flag. It's not represented by anybody else but every one of us in the United States of America.
I believe we would agree with you, sir.
And I would like to confer as the American flag and not just the flag, because it is not just the flag, just as that man said right there. Thank you.
Actually, there is only one flag, and that is the flag. That is the flag. I don't have to refer to that flag as the United States of America flag. I am a veteran. I respect that flag. When I say the flag, that is the flag. I do not represent to a banner or whatever else. We are respectful to this flag. I am respectful to
Thank
this
you.
flag.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to confuse the issue at all. I just want to add a point of clarification. If you asked a question earlier about why is this being brought to you tonight if the FAA has not ruled
Yes?
on this. This was actually scheduled for an earlier meeting. That meeting was not held because of lack of a quorum. We did not want to delay this any further, and given the recommendation that we had, that particular point was not determinate.